Hey, this is Tim Kim with TM Media, and this videos are going to be basically on interviewing for a design job, and you're probably not going to like what you hear because I don't have really good experience in this, and I suck at doing interviews. So if any of you guys suck at doing interviews, welcome to the club. And I gotta say, I don't think. I think a lot of them are unrealistic, and well, first let me read this. Person named Ruben, and I'm going to be clearing my throat a lot. I'm going through allergies, so I have a cough drop in my mouth, but, sorry, but I'm probably going to be clearing my throat a few times. All right, so a gentleman named Ruben says he's a recent graduate as a graphic designer, and wanted to know what I need to know to go in your interview. He feels confident, but when he gets into interviews, some interviews, they're asking him about programs, and then there's a lot of basically, they're asking him about programs and software programs, and one of them, I guess, wasn't on the application when he filled it out. So, when I go, I've interviewed for jobs, usually short-term jobs. They want a contractor, and they basically, I'll go in and interview, and some of them will actually be full-time jobs, but I just know they're not going to last full-time, and that option comes up where they'll just use me for a few months or something like that. People that interview for design jobs, I would say the best interviewers are the people that are in a really creative design firm where it's really a boutique firm, and there's people wearing just what they want. There's there's cool art, hip stuff around. There's they got nice furniture, and it's kind of in one of those places that it just looks like a design firm. A marketing firm or an advertising agency, they have their own little things, but I've seen. I'll give you an example. Latest. When I first moved to Tampa, I figured, okay, I have clients pretty much throughout the U.S. and actually some international clients as well. But I figured, okay, I want to see what I'm worth out there, and just throw my resume, see what's going on. And I had someone that wanted a designer, and they basically had me come in, or actually they had me come in, and then they sent me away to do a test project. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, test projects do not do, because I was sitting there telling myself, this doesn't look right, I need to refuse it. If they're not happy enough with your portfolio, and based on your interview, they don't think you have what it takes, then they're not going to ever think you have what it takes. But I stupidly went ahead and agreed to this test project, and basically the discussion was, she said, well, I want you to come up with a marketing idea for this entire campaign, but don't take more than 3 hours. I don't want you to waste too much time. And we want graphics and the idea and concept and all that fun stuff. This was a marketing company. It's in Tampa, and I'm not going to mention the name, but basically it's basically a printer trying to pose as a marketing firm. It is not a marketing firm in my mind. So I basically went through this, I went through this whole thing, and they were pretty vague on their description. On the client brief was, client brief is basically just, what the thoughts are, and you're trying to nail down, they're trying to guide you on what to do, but it was very vague, and I'm sitting there saying, okay, this is for a design job. They want a design. I'm sorry. they want a design, and they want a great marketing idea, but they wanted the plan, the execution, how it was going to be distributed, all this other stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, I can't do everything. I got to come up with a decent graphics and some ideas, because they are hiring a graphic designer. Spent probably more like 6 hours on this project, and had had an idea, a brand, the whole general idea was based in the graphic and the content, the messaging. So I sent it to them, or went there, and they said, "Well, we're kind of disappointed. We think you really missed the mark on that, and we're kind of we thought you were better. We expected more from you," or something like that. And I got to tell you, I was sitting there under the table, grabbing onto the freaking thing, wanting, just trying to hold myself from killing this woman, because her information was vague, and it wasn't only me, because she sat there and said, "Well, yeah, we send this out to many different designers, and apparently no one's understanding this. So, it's just all our freaking fault. I mean, it's just a bunch of designers that are just stupid. It's not the way she, maybe wrote it, or just gave us 3 hours to do it." So, anyways, I'll stop my rant. I'll stop. I'm getting excited. I'm going to stop now. There's a lot of interview. My point was on that was there's a lot of interviewers that just aren't good. So if you go in their interview and things don't turn out the way they seem, or you think they're asking some ridiculous requirements, and that's another thing. As far as software programs, I will sit there and look at someone looking for a designer, and they have everything from, you need to know HTML, ASP, PHP, blah, 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 software, Adobe, entire Creative Suite. I mean, they are so unrealistic, it's not funny. 3D software, I mean, you can't know everything. I'm really good at Illustrator. I'm a pretty good drawer. I know brand strategy, and I know a little bit of web design. That's what I started in, and I know Photoshop. I don't know every single trick in Photoshop, I'm sure, but I'm probably more stronger in Illustrator. But I don't know much. I know a little bit on 3D programs that I just happen to have on my computer, and I played around with them a couple times. But if someone said, we need you to do the graphics and the web development, no way. I mean, and if you even know that, chances are you're not going to be very good at either one of them, and you're just going to be, a handyman. So when people when people are sitting there on their job applications, or their job requirements saying that you have to be all these things, I would submit your resume anyways, because some of those are just so realistic. They're done by, and a lot of them are done by, especially if it's a bigger company, they're done by corporate, and they just looked up on the web what a designer should have. And they couldn't even tell you what the difference between Photoshop and Illustrator is. So keep that in mind. But let me see what else. But yeah, as far as interviewing and what I can got, I mean, I'm not really good at interviewing. I can't really. I don't know if I can give you advice on it. My problem is, I'll tell you what my problem is, and maybe you can learn from my screw-ups or something. But when I'm, I don't know how much I've looked in the camera, but when I'm thinking and trying to, I'm doing it now. When my eyes start wandering, and I don't have very good eye contact. So when someone asks me a question, I'd be looking over here saying, I do this and I do that, and this is my ideas, and and I'll be looking at space. But the thing is, I'm visualizing, and that's what designers do. They visualize. So I can't sit there and look at your face and look at every single expression you're making while I'm trying to just explore some options here and talk to you about an idea. I would say that's probably I'm pretty sure that turns people off. I'm pretty direct and straightforward just because I've dealt with so many clients and I want to make sure they get the information. I've been in interviews where, I've been in positions where, they're expecting you to be, they want to, I love when they want like a designer and they want a great personality and this, and that, and they want you to be, jump out of bed and full of sunshine and that kind of thing. And it's just, do you want a designer or do you want a cheerleader? I mean, what the hell do you want? I'm not the most, you know, up. I mean, I don't know. I'm not as upbeat as that, but I I can talk to clients and explore ideas and things like that. But no, I'm not gonna, jump on the table and say yay, rah rah, company, go company, and some of these corporate companies, these larger corporations, that's it. Just seems like that's what they want rather than. I mean, and the other thing is there's a lot of creative people that aren't very politically correct. They don't get along with other people, and a lot of them are real assholes. But some of those assholes are really good creative people and designers. I mean, Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, he wasn't the nicest guy. He could be a real jerk, but he was, borderline genius, I guess. I mean, some people call him a genius and on what he could create. So I would say, I mean, I'm trying to think of some other things I could tell you is what I've done as far as screwing up. Uh, yeah, it's tough to say. Uh, Trying to think. Yeah, I can't. I don't know if I can give her anything positive pointers. I'm sorry. I can just tell you how I screwed up in the past. I'm just trying to think of some of the offices I've been in. Um, Always talk to the person that's hiring you, not to someone else. That's one thing I advise. That's pretty much with more of projects and contract work. Because I've been in meetings where they just have this new marketing person, or they're just they're just giving this woman something to do, and she's wasting my time on talking about a project that she doesn't even know the budget's for. I mean, that's what I've learned in dealing with some clients. Talk to the guy that's writing the check, or talk to the guy that's going to make the decision on hiring you. Trying to think what else I can share with you. Don't dress like a slob. Uh, I don't like dress up. I'll go, I'll kind of look like a designer. I might wear a pair of jeans with a nice shirt and a jacket. Just kind of look like the hip designer look that's sometimes they're expecting. Because actually, I went into a office one time and I was dressed much better with the tie. Not that I would. Yeah, I guess I had. No, I didn't have a tie on. I can't stand ties. But I was dressed up much nicer. But they almost got offended because I was dressed up too nice. So I would say know who you're going to see. That is huge. Right? There's some good advice I can give you. If you're going into a financial firm and they need a designer, that's going to be a hell of a lot different than going into an actual creative firm or an ad agency. And then I had a contract job that I interviewed for at a financial firm. They didn't wind up picking me, but I dressed up pretty good, and I think they were all dressed up pretty good. They were semi like business casual, and they said you can come in more business casual if you like. And I'm like, that's fine. So if you're going into like a big corporation, HP, IBM, or something like that, they're probably going to have certain higher dress standards. I haven't been into one of those big firms in a while, but that's pretty much how it works for me. if you're going into a very creative environment, you can dress down a little bit. Try to. I gotta set this thing off. Shut this thing off so it doesn't keep doing that. Trying to think of someone else. Something else. Have a decent, bring your portfolio, and either if it's in print or if it's in digital format, I usually just bring my iPad and I'll go through it, or I'll email it to them ahead of time, but just bring it anyways. If they want you to bring anything, make sure you have it. Don't show up, because then you just look like you're incompetent. Try to be organized. That's one thing I look for in a designer. If I want to work with someone and I want to hire them, I want to look at their creativity, but I want to make sure also they can, get back to me on a timely basis, and they're organized and they don't have files everywhere, and layers or files that are just all over the place and I can't see what's what. Try to be organized, but don't get down. Don't. Again, there's a lot of people out there. A lot of interviewers that are just not that great at picking out people. Because you can be. I'm a lousy interviewee. I'll admit that. But I'm very creative, and I get the damn job done. I'm very organized. I'm very. I'm a great collaborator on teams. But I'm not the greatest interviewer, and I'll tell people that right off the bat. So. Don't let that disturb you. They deal with that every day, as far as corporations talking to people about we need to do better, or we need to refine our interviewing process, because what they're doing is they're so structured on what they want and what the requirements are, and did this person raise their right eyebrow correctly, or whatever it may be. They're so constrained on that, they're missing out on these, amazing people, from people in IT, from, people in finance, to designers, everything. So they're loosening up. And the other thing I've seen is they make us. I know I'm going along here, but if you want to tag along, feel free. Otherwise, you can shut me off anytime. But the other thing I see lately is people decide in teams. They sit there and they'll go throughout the whole 8 people and say, what do you think of this guy? And they'll all vote. I don't know if I'm crazy about that idea, because there could be someone making a decision based on either they didn't get all the information, or they could be pretty much making a decision based on what you look like. There's just you've gone through this interview process, and you might not even go through with all these people. You might go with it through a few people or one person, and they'll forward your work over there, and and they may not know that was a different. Whatever. The information is not there, so I'm not crazy about that either, and that's what I'm sure you're going to run into too. If that's the case, say you want to talk to the people of the group, rather than just communicating with emails. Saying if we're going to get interviewed, if my job relies on all these people making a decision, I think I'd probably at least want to have a 5-minute conversation with them, each one. You may definitely do that. So that's another thing. I think that's about it. I don't know if that's helped or not, but you can basically learn from my mistakes and at least cut it down a little bit from what I've gone through. So that's it. Any questions, or if I missed anything, left anything out, or you think, or whatever? I've rambled on so long here, so I've kind of lost. I think I've lost what I've told you and what I haven't. So, anyways, thanks for listening, and keep commenting. Bye.